National Park number 12, here we come. Once we left Congaree National Park in South Carolina, we headed north to Charlotte. I've got a sister and her family that live there, and we spent about 5 days with them, taking in the area and enjoying catching up with them on everything that's been going on. And then we left Charlotte and headed to Waynesville, North Carolina, which is where we're at now. Waynesville's on the eastern side of the Smokies, as you can imagine. And we're going to spend about a week here on the eastern side of the Smokies, take in all the sights and attractions kind of on this side. Then we're going to venture across the Smokies over to Sevierville, which is near Pigeon Forge and Gatlinburg, and spend a week over there before we leave the Smokies. So we're looking forward to spending a couple weeks in this magnificent park, and we're anxious to share our visit with you. So a German immigrant son, Henry Plott, made his home in this valley, in this area here, and it was a great area for hunting, and hunting dogs were used a lot to hunt for their game. And Henry Plott developed the Plott bear hound. So if you're into hunting hounds and know a little bit about them, maybe you've heard of the Plott bear hound before. I hadn't heard of it, so I learned something today. Well, we've officially made it to National Park number 12. We're going to head up to the visitor center and get our book stamped. Look at the beards on those rascals. You ready for this?
Yep, I'm ready.
So we're going to be hiking what's called the Smokemont Loop Trail, and it's, I believe, 6.5 miles, which is a little longer than I really wanted to tackle today, but we're close to it. It took us a good 45 minutes to get to the visitor center, and this is only another 3 miles away, so we thought we'd check it out. It's a beautiful day. We've got our backpacks on, we've got our bear spray. There are a lot of black bears in Smoky Mountain National Park, but very seldom do they ever have an encounter with a human. So we're hoping that's the case today, obviously, and we look to get some good exercise. Alright, I don't know how well you can hear me because of the river, but we're getting ready to cross the river on what used to be a tree, and they've modified it into a walking bridge, so this should be very interesting. What'd you think about that bridge?
It was had a little bit of a bumpiness to it. It was very pretty, but I mean, I know I've been higher than that, but that was a little uneasy, but not too bad.
So this trail's rated moderate, and the first part of it was pretty easy. We were walking down a road. When we crossed that bridge, we got to a narrow trail, and it's been all uphill ever since. So we're about a third of the way done. A few termites there. Well, we're 2 hours into the hike. We finally reached the summit. Whew, that was rough. We stopped a few times to catch our breath, but now we're going downhill, and this feels wonderful. Our phones show we've only walked about half the trail so far. So if that's the case, we've still got a ways to go, because I think it's 6.5 miles total. Alright, we made it back to the campground where we started in one piece. Whew!
Hard. That was a hard hike. Straight up for about, what, a little over 3 miles?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then straight down for a little over 3 miles. But felt good. We'll end up being a little over 6 miles by the time we get back to the car. Felt good to get out in nature.
Yep.
Kind of warm. We got pretty warm on that hike, and we're pretty tired, so it'll feel good to sit down in the car, and we'll head back about 45-minute drive to get back to the campground, and we'll, I'm sure, relax for the rest of the day. Good morning, everybody. This is day 2 in the Smoky Mountain area, and we are heading off. We're camped on the east side. Camped on the east side of the park, and we're going to head down to the south central side of the park today. A little town called, I think it's called Bryson City, and we're going to hike a trail that I think has a couple waterfalls on it. So if you like waterfalls, you should enjoy this hike. So we made it. Looks like there's a number of trailheads that start here, so we're going to try to find a map and see if we can figure out where we're going. Alright, so we found it. This is called the Three Waterfalls Loop, so we're going to come up through here, circle around. I think it's about 2 miles total. Well, we're approaching our first falls. Leslie's FaceTiming with one of our grandsons.
To warn me.
Well, Leslie just walked up on a rattlesnake. I mean, like one step from it, and it rattled, made some noise. I'm going to take the camera up and try to get a video of it. How you feeling?
Yeah, my heart, man, that was scary. Whew.
Whew. There he lays, playing possum with me. Coming up on our second waterfall. Well, we're back to the parking lot, almost. That was a nice trail. We just saw 2 waterfalls. I'd rate that somewhere between an easy and a moderate. There's some pretty good climbing, and of course then you got to go downhill. So, wasn't too bad though, about 1.6 miles. We're going to hop in the car, drive a little ways, and go check out another waterfall. Well, it was an interesting drive to get here, but we made it. Mingo Falls is the name of this place. Supposed to be pretty decent falls. So lots of water noise right now, so we know we're close to some rushing water.
Seal of the Eastern Band of the Cherokee Nation. And that must be their symbol.
Well, we hope you've enjoyed this part of our adventure in the Smokies. What we've decided to do is to do a part 1 and a part 2 to our visit. So part 1 being here on the eastern side, part 2 once we cross over to the western side of the Smokies. And we've got an extra bonus that we're going to throw in between these 2 videos. If you're familiar with the east side of the Smokies, that region, you know that there's a pretty neat attraction in Asheville, North Carolina. I'm not going to tell you what it is. I'm going to let you guess, and we'll show it to you in an upcoming video. Like always, we appreciate your interest in our adventure. If you haven't yet subscribed to our YouTube channel, I'd like to encourage you to do so. Once you subscribe, if you click on the little bell icon next to the subscribe button, you'll be the first to be notified anytime we add a new video. If you're not following us on Instagram or Facebook, and if you have interest in doing that, our Instagram page is called Buckeye Drifters, 1 word, and our Facebook page is Buckeye Drifters, 2 words. Like always, thanks again for your interest, and we'll catch you on the next video.